Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And the CDL did confirm last night that yes, the matches for this upcoming week due to start today are going to be postponed. As yet, it's unclear exactly what the new schedule is going to look like. Going to talk about some possibilities today, exactly why it has been postponed, but also the announcement, or at least the rumours, that the next Call of Duty game is going to be set once again in World War II. What could that mean for our professional scene? Intrigued to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Pretty unfortunate stuff. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. This then was the confirmation from the CoD League last night. We've talked about this for a few days now. These winter storms going on, especially around the Texas area, really affecting power outages and such. The players have had a difficult time not only getting onto practice, but also potentially even playing their professional matches, right? And even if these matches that were going to be going ahead tonight could have been played, I think one of them was between teams that aren't based in Texas, so would have been okay. One of them, I think, had OpTic, and it was OpTic versus Toronto. That potentially would have been an issue, probably might have been okay, but at the same time, you've got to look at what we looked at yesterday, the fact that you've got teams like Toronto and Florida and such that haven't been really having issues, and Los Angeles Guerrillas still practicing without too much problem, but then you've got teams that have had a very difficult time practicing for the league, which then means like, okay, can we really, do we want to hold these matches? Does it uphold competitive integrity to the same level if some teams just haven't had the opportunity to practice these last several days? So my expectation is they're probably just going to chalk off this entire weekend and find a way to reschedule it probably early next week, because I don't think they want to push back the entire season because of this. They probably want to get these matches done ASAP, but they may well just chalk off this weekend. But this is what they say: in light of winter storms around the United States, we will not be hosting competition tomorrow, that being today. Tomorrow at 12 PM Pacific time, at 3 PM Eastern, we will share an exciting announcement about our revised schedule. So that's what they're going for, an exciting announcement, whatever that means. It seems like they've already decided exactly what's going to be happening, and as they say, they're only saying right here, tomorrow's matches are going to be postponed, but in all likelihood, it may be more matches than that. So tonight it was meant to be Guerrillas versus Mutineers, then Ultra versus OpTic, and well, these are the 10 matches that were due to happen this weekend. Maybe that's not the case, right? And maybe they will just try and squeeze these matches in early part of next week before everything kicks off for week 3, and then, well, then hopefully the whole rest of the season can go as planned with no more mishaps as we've seen so far this season, also last season, of course, with the whole situation coming into effect. So this is the season schedule as they would like it to happen. 11th was the Atlanta FaZe home series. The second week was meant to start today. The third week was starting, of course, on Thursday next week, and maybe they will just try and fit those 10 matches in somewhere over the next several days. Maybe, maybe they chalk off this weekend and try and go again, with the intention that over these next couple of days, everyone's power, I think, is hopefully going to be coming back, at least those who have been affected. And well, if that is the case, they should at least get a couple of days practice before maybe an entire week's worth of matches. Who really knows? There could be a lot of Call of Duty to talk about and to cover in the upcoming days, but yeah, this weekend we will unfortunately, it seems, have to do without. That's what kind of Crone tweets out as well. This weekend's matches will be rescheduled, so even though they only said today, in all likelihood it may be more than that. So really unfortunate to see. As Clayton says, Mac's apartment is down horrendously bad. There were certainly some questions right here. I mean, look at it, the water just leaking in his house right here. So of course, with stuff like this going on, it's pretty difficult indeed to just, focus up, get on for scrims when, obviously there's other things happening in the world right now. And I think they had a matchup on Sunday against the Minnesota Rokkr. The brand team was talking about right here. You still good for a match on Sunday though, and well, there's some teams that have been out of practice, some teams that haven't. In the theme of competitive integrity, it may make sense just to push these matches back, hopefully into the near future, as MacMelt says as well, down bad. So not really sure what's going to happen here. Of course, some announcement coming later today. Talk about that in tomorrow's video. But yeah, hopefully, hopefully this gets resolved soon. I'm sure we would like to get Call of Duty back as soon as possible. It was only a couple of months into the Modern Warfare season where things all went haywire, and well, it's only really a week into this season where things are getting postponed and delayed again. 2 events outside of the Call of Duty League's control, of course. As ILLey says, hopefully Texas is back to normal soon. Losing my mind not being able to play CoD. As Clay says, this is probably the longest you've went without playing CoD in an entire decade. And Carmen just says, dude, I want to shower. So there's so many different elements of this story from different people's perspective. And yeah, hopefully any of you guys affected, it figures itself out sooner rather than later. We talked about League play yesterday as well, some of the issues with it. Chino says as well, get on and play back-to-back cheaters in Surge. Hashtag blessed, hashtag love life. Absolutely love to see it. But this is the other topic I wanted to hone in on today. So that being Call of Duty League 2021, or 2021 is this season, but 2022 will be played on Call of Duty 2021, whatever that is going to be. We heard some rumours recently, the fact that it's going to be Sledgehammer Games this time around. We also heard that maybe Activision are putting like Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward like to basically race each other to who can finish a game first. Of course, this year, try a game at Black Ops Cold War. Previous year was Modern Warfare. Previous year before that was Call of Duty Black Ops 4. 4, which is, of course, pretty interesting, all things considered, the fact that Sledgehammer's World War II title, they didn't get to come back again, and well, Treyarch stepped over this year. This would have been Sledgehammer's year from all accounts, but it seems like Treyarch had to come in for whatever reason. There was rumours at the time that Sledgehammer had kind of messed this game up, and well, Treyarch kind of had to come in and save Black Ops Cold War, whatever they were trying to do. So maybe Sledgehammer will get pushed back to this year, and of course we had World War II was the last title that Sledgehammer made. They also made Advanced Warfare a few years ago, way back in 2014, I believe, when that game came out. But as Charlie Intel say, this year is also going to be, supposedly, a World War II era game. So we're back to the 1940s as we were a couple of years ago, and what implications does this potentially have for the game? As Tom Henderson says, he's done a number of leaks and such. It's Sledgehammer games, gritty and likely to be controversial like Modern Warfare, boots on the ground, guerrilla like Warfare, Warzone, integration. So pretty interesting to hear. Obviously, World War II on the whole, looking back on it now, it does have a lot of positives to go from it from a competitive side. I don't think it was the greatest game to play or necessarily to watch, and I think it was pretty boring at times, but at the same time, it did have a good ranked play system. The headquarters and such was cool. We'll look at them in a second. It definitely had some things going for it in that title, which maybe we didn't give it enough credit for at the time, especially given the Call of Duties we got, let's just say, in Modern Warfare. For example, a title set during the Pacific Theatre would be cool, I think. I think general consensus here is we are all bored of boots on the ground. Newsflash though, Treyarch will likely be the next devs 2023 to release an advanced movement based title depending on Warzone plans. So seems like it's a while away till we get an Advanced Warfare movement game or an advanced movement game once again, but it looks like another World War II era shooter. This time around, Infinity Ward are going to do some sort of Modern Warfare 2 type stuff once again, I imagine, and then we might get a Treyarch advanced movement title in 2023. That seems to be the timeline as it stands right now. This I thought was interesting as well to say to Intel. World War II wasn't everyone's cup of tea. That is certainly true, but to be fair, this headquarters stuff was pretty cool that we had back in the day as well. So they had some nice features in that title, but yeah, maybe the game wasn't exactly spectacular from my perspective, but of course you guys might have different opinions down below. One of the question really is on this, of course, there were some players that were just great at World War II, and some players that didn't have the best year in World War II, right? Like especially the likes of Scump or the OpTic gaming team in general, coming off their World Championship win in Infinite Warfare, they go into World War II, don't have the best year by any means, probably Scump's worst title individually, as Crim was talking about as well in the documentary we did not too long ago now, and of course OpTic gaming, the dynasty broke up after the Seattle event that season. So yeah, this game wasn't the best for those players. Who knows whether if they do a World War II 2 or whatever exactly they want to call it, I doubt it's going to be World War II 2, that would just be a ridiculous name, but I imagine if it is in that era, also made by Sledgehammer Games, it will play somewhat similarly to what the game did 3 years ago, and if that's the case, then maybe similar players will be very good at that title, right? You could definitely make that argument, and it's always an argument we have every single year, right? Like coming into a different movement mechanics in certain games, sliding was strong in a particular year, then it comes like more jump shotting is a thing, and drop shotting is a thing, like these types of movement mechanics favour different players, and clearly World War II was very good for certain players, as TJHaLy says right here, rumored 2021 will be another World War II era title from Sledgehammer Games. TJ's pretty happy with that, right? It's probably the best SMG for at least a time on that game. Kenny was right up there as well, of course. I mean, Kenny was definitely the best, but yeah, TJ is like that kind of aggro entry SMG, was certainly up there that entire season on that Rise Nation team. He's pretty happy it's coming back. Methods as well, right? This is probably Methods' favourite game. He just had to set up on a head glitch and well, gun people down from range with the STG or the bar, whatever he had in hand at the time, and won an event, of course, that season, CW Atlanta on Rise Nation alongside TJHaLy, right? And then towards the end of the season, joined onto the OpTic gaming squad. This is with the World War II leaks. Could we see the return of the dynasty, the Octane, Scump, Crimsix, and Methods team that you guys, if you haven't been around a while, might not actually remember that this team was a thing. They didn't want to have Methods, I think. So basically, what happened is Formal and Karma were on the team at Seattle. The team broke apart. Formal wanted something else, and effectively, that I think maybe Scump and Crim, or I'm not really sure how it exactly went down, but Karma got dropped effectively off the team, and he was benched for the rest of the season. Came back in Black Ops 4 and won the first championship at OpTic Gaming in that new 5v5 arena. But yeah, he got dropped. They got Octane into the team as like this main AR, and then I think they wanted John or Zuma or maybe even someone else. And Methods was like their third choice, and it obviously didn't really work out, right? Because you got a team with Scump, who's really the only aggressive one, Crimsix, who's kind of trying to play a second SMG but isn't quite quick enough. Then you've got two main assault rifles, effectively Octane and Methods. A pretty ridiculous team, but well, it actually kind of worked out in Hardpoint that season. They were really good at Hardpoint for some reason during the Pro League, but when it came down to the World Championship and the other game modes, it didn't work out to their favour, right? They got 3-0'd by Evil Geniuses at the World Championship, and well, they came top 24 at that event, so I doubt we're going to see a return of this team once again. Methods did, of course, win a championship on that game, but this end of the season wasn't exactly spectacular for them or the entirety of the OpTic gaming squad. So that is a question mark. Who knows whether, you know, World War II, 2 or whatever it is, will play similarly at all. But yeah, certainly I think a return to boots on the ground is not necessarily what we're looking for. I think a lot of people would have said we would like Advanced Warfare 2 more than that. Probably getting, especially in the competitive scene, we play a lot of Call of Duty, probably somewhat bored of boots on the ground at this point. So maybe it's going to be a couple of years until we get back to that point. But intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. Who will this favour? Who will this hinder? And well, are you happy it's going back to a World War II style environment? Because personally, that wasn't my favourite Call of Duty game. Thought I'd mention a couple of things to finish out the video. This one rated, of course, former professional Call of Duty player. Just wanted to shout out he's been killing it lately, right? He won this tourney yesterday or a couple of days ago now. 10k Warzone tourney alongside Aiden. Just killing it in terms of sub count, follower count as well. So fair play to him. And we did touch on this yesterday as well, but wanted to point out that from Stream Hatchet, the COD League opening weekend reached 83,000. I think this is 83,000 average viewers they mean. The peak viewership was actually 131,000. So this is comparing last year to this year, the opening weekend of last season to the opening weekend of this season. I imagine they mean the opening weekend, they mean like the Minnesota kind of kickoff they had last time round, which only lasted maybe a couple of days. So in terms of hours watched, it's probably a little bit different. But again, all key viewership metrics up at least 25% over the first weekends. I do think that last year there were some issues. The fact that nobody really knew it was on YouTube. They announced the YouTube partnership the day I'm pretty sure that it launched. So it was a little bit sketchy. But you know, at the same time, 83,000 average viewers for the matchups that we had this past weekend was pretty impressive, peaking at 131k. So fair play to all involved. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.